And is it true that you were at a Carlos Mencia show where he was making little people
Yeah,
jokes,
yeah.
and then
I
you
was
were
in the
there?
audience.
Yeah.
He's on stage. This is before I started doing comedy.
Oh.
I was in the audience of that show, and he started making midget jokes, and half the audience is laughing. The audience is by me is like, "Whoa, we can't laugh at that shit." Yeah, look at that. And then and see us on stage, and he goes, "What is one of them here?" And I just raised my creepy little hand in the air. And says like, "Yeah, I'm fucking here. What are you gonna fucking do about it?" And he called me up on the stage, started asking me questions. I answered the questions. He didn't try to make them funny. I just answered the questions. He said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" I said, "I work at Disneyland," because I did. I grew up in Orange County. At some point, all kids got to work at Disneyland if you grow up in Orange County. The fact that I'm a dwarf is purely coincidence. And then I said I work at Disneyland. The audience laughed, and I turned to the audience and I said, "Fuck you, I'm not one of the 7." And then they laughed again, and I'm like, oh, that felt really fucking good. That
Right.
felt really fucking good. So I had sex at that point, but that was right up there with sex. So after that, I started doing the open mics, and that really made me go like, I really want to do this. So I started doing it, and it's been fucking great.
And so, what was your big break or the first big step?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about show business that I want to put it out there for people. Wow, I've been doing that whole thing with my neck held up.
Yeah.
Now I'm putting it back. It feels
Yeah.
fucking delightful. This is so much better.
You can leave Nick
All right.
Santoro.
No, this is great. All right. No, you don't. Very rarely in show business and in life do you get one big break. What happens most of the time is you get a break that leads to a break, that leads to a bigger break, that leads to a bigger break.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened to me. You know, going on the road with Mencia, and while he had the Mind of Mencia TV show back 20 years ago, whatever it was,
Yeah.
that was big break number 1. Then that led to going on, that led to headlining on my own. That's kind of big break number 2 because I didn't suck when I was the opening act.
Mm-hmm.
And big break number 3, getting on the Kevin and Bean show out here in LA. That's a popular radio program, which kind of got me going in LA and got people talking about me. And very popular on podcasting all over the country. And being part of that show was really great. Being part of that. And then the comedy specials, Fun Sags, Daddy Issues,
Mm-hmm.
those were breaks. And then that led to Netflix. That was a big break. And then the Amazon Prime picking up the comedy specials and putting them on. That was a big break because that shows me to a whole nother audience. And then it's really those 2 comedy specials because then that's all building. And then right after the pandemic or during the pandemic, people start passing my shit around on TikTok. I'm not even on TikTok. I'm not on it. Anyone who says they're Brad Williams, they're not. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on it yet. I will be eventually, but whatever. So they passed around the clips, and that got me popular even more. So it's like all these things just led to the next, led to the next, led to the next. So I don't like saying like this one thing was my big break.
Mhm.
It's a lot of things that just kind of led up to each other, and that's how it is in life, Because it's like I like this quote. Quote is people like to say to people who are successful is, you got lucky. You got lucky. Luck is skill meets opportunity. Because if I had gone on stage, before Mencia and sucked, well, then that ends that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If I started headlining and I sucked, that ends that opportunity. Before I got on the Kevin and Bean show, I tried to do that. The first time I got on air with them, if I sucked, that ends that opportunity. So it's like you have to have some skill when you get your opportunity.
Yeah.
No one's just going to come to you and say, here's a bag of money because you exist.
Right.
You got to have some sort of skill that makes people, when I did the comedy specials, the first comedy special, Fun Sash, it wasn't even guaranteed to go on Showtime. A little inside baseball here. We were just shooting it. And then we're going to be like, all right, let's just go out and see if anyone wants it. We shot like 6 specials that weekend with, 5 other comedians.
Right.
Not all of them got picked up. Not all of them did. I don't want to put on blast whose didn't get picked up because they're all really great comics.
Right.
But mine did. So I got lucky in that I got an opportunity, but I had the skill to back it up. So you know what I mean? Like, cause I could have blown any one of those things, and then I'd be going to studios in the valley filming midget porn. You know, that would be my life right now. Yeah, which don't get me wrong, I'd probably be way more popular filming midget porn. Dude, there's these girls on TikTok. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not on it, but I see the algorithm.
Right.
And there's these dwarf porn stars on TikTok, these chicks, and I'm just like, holy shit, good for fucking you. Like, I'm happy for them. I would never do it. But it's like, good for you. Nice to see other little people succeeding.
Yeah.
You ever tried skeleton porn? Is that something you'd
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by the looks of it looks like you stay hard the whole time.
Always
right.
hard.
Yep.
All bone.
Another quote about luck that I like is also Tiger Woods used to say, "The harder I practice, the luckier I am." So
Yeah.
that skill is important. And
Yeah.
but it looked like you were very successful. Like, I mean, early on, like
Yeah.
it wasn't a super.
It was. I was pretty successful early on, and as like, cause some young comics that came up with me, they'd be like, "Oh man, I wish I was a dwarf, because that's
Right.
you got opportunities." And I'd be like, "All right, fucking, if you want to, pay an extra $30-$40 for every pair of pants you buy, because you gotta hem them. If you want to buy shoes that have characters on the side, because that's the only shit that fits you. If you want to go to Six Flags and be like, well, maybe one day I'll ride that ride, not today as a 30-year-old man. Yeah, go fucking right ahead. Like, there's bone saws out there. Go ask the fucking Saudi Arabians. You can get a bone saw, saw off your fucking leg, and then there you go. There's
Right.
your hook.
That's a reaction to almost any minority. That
Yeah.
right, like,
Oh, I wish I was this.
Right.
It's like, all right, go right ahead. But once again, there's been a lot of little people that have tried to do stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
and there's only a few that have been successful. You got guys like me and Nick DeVicki, and then Tanya Lee Davis came before me. She's a pioneer. She's like the dwarf Jackie Robinson. So then
Right.
she's great, and but that, like, there's a lot more that have tried that haven't been that successful. So it's more that it's like when Dan Cook was having all his popularity. Everyone's like, oh, he just does pop culture references. He just says pop culture references. I'm like, if I can go on stage and say fucking Speak and Spell and Teddy Ruxpin and Super Soaker and get $40 million, I'd fucking do it.
Right.
So he's obviously doing more than just that.
Right.
He's doing more than just walking on stage and being like, Thundercats. Everyone goes fucking crazy.